I came near unto one of them that stood by, and asked him the truth of all this. So he told me, and made me know the interpretation of the things. These great beasts, which are four kings, who shall arise out of the earth. But the Kochim of El Elyon shall take the kingdom, and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. Then I would know the truth of the fourth beast, which was diverse from all the others, exceeding dreadful, whose teeth were of iron, and his nails of brass, which devoured, broke in pieces, and stamped the remnant with his feet, and of the 10 horns that were in his head, and of the other which came up, and before whom 3 fell, even of that horn that had eyes, and a mouth that spoke very great things, whose look was more stout than his fellows. Daniel 7:16-20. Thus he said, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon earth, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down, and break it in pieces. And the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall rise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings. And he shall speak great words against El Elyon, and shall wear out the Kochim of El Elyon, and think to change times and laws. And they shall be given into his hand until a period of time and times, and the dividing of time. Daniel 7:23-25.
The World Health Organization is moving forward to revise international health regulations in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. Some member states are expressing concern over provisions of the zero-draft WHO Convention Agreement. Critics say the proposed agreement would give the WHO authority over health care, trade, and other aspects of our lives. Well, joining us to explain more is Reggie Littlejohn. Ms. Littlejohn is president of Women's Rights Without Frontiers and co-chair of the Stop Vaccine Passport Task Force. Hi, Reggie. Before we discuss how this ties into U.S. law, what would approval of this zero-draft agreement mean for people worldwide?
Well, I believe that it will mean the establishment of a worldwide totalitarian biotech state. So these instruments, and by the way, you correctly characterized the zero draft as an agreement. That's what they're calling it. They don't want to call it a treaty because they are deliberately trying to subvert the United States and the other countries' treaty processes. So if it's an agreement, all it takes is a signature. It does not take going through our Senate. So people say, oh, don't worry about it. It will never pass our Senate. Well, they are deliberately subverting our Senate process.
Signatories must recognize, quote, the central role of the WHO as a directing and coordinating authority on international health work. What do you believe that means?
Well, it means that the WHO is able to call the shots if there's any health emergency or potential health emergency anywhere in the world. And the language that says that they have to have the permission of the country is stricken, so that they can do it without the permission of the country. And it's not only about human health. They have something called One Health, which means that they can do it on behalf of human health, animal health, plant health, the environment. They can use any reason that they want to be able to come in and basically run the show in terms of addressing that health issue.
And I've read the zero draft proposal. It gives the WHO authority over the global supply chain, trade, commerce, through establishment of the WHO Global Pandemic Supply Chain and Logistics Network. WHO Director General Tedros would lead that effort early on in the pandemic. You remember Tedros praised President Xi Jinping for China's efforts to control the outbreak. So your thoughts on him and his potential control of the supply chain?
Well, Dr. Tedros Ghebreyesus is very closely aligned with the Chinese Communist Party, and the Chinese Communist Party has absolutely outsized influence at the World Health Organization, which is why they were able to get away with all the lies that they did, which were just amplified by Dr. Tedros. So this is not a good alliance at all. And in terms of the supply chains, they are also wanting to take control over the intellectual property. Like if somebody in the United States or another country develops a great vaccine, they're going to be forced to share that information, which I think is bad for the production of pharmaceuticals. I think that intellectual property rights are very important.
Yes, I noticed that in the draft agreement. And here in the U.S., let's move forward. How is the Biden administration planning to use the National Defense Authorization Act, the NDAA, to pre-approve whatever is approved by the WHO?
This is something that just came to my attention on Friday from an international law expert, that this National Defense Authorization Act, which was rammed through at the very end of the last Congress, contains within it something called the International Pandemic Preparedness Act. And I think most people in Congress don't even know about this. But that act contains a loophole in it, which he argues, and I agree, makes it that whatever the World Health Organization passes is automatically made law in the United States, again, subverting our Senate. So this needs to be opposed. And in fact, I think that the entire World Health Organization attempt to take over the world, really, through vaccine passports. That's another thing that they want to do. The World Health Organization, if these things are passed, will have the ability to mandate in the United States how we handle a pandemic, including forced quarantines, forced mask mandates, forced vaccine mandates. Why should we allow Dr. Tedros, who failed so miserably in handling the Wuhan virus, order us around about how we handle our own health? So I think that we should actually withdraw from the WHO, and we are calling for there's a bill that is sponsored by Representative Biggs, and there is also a debate right now about raising the debt ceiling. I think that anyone who believes in freedom in the U.S. Congress should condition raising the debt ceiling on U.S. withdrawal from the World Health Organization.
Now what the WHO is doing? Trying to make anything a crisis.
I was convening an emergency committee under the international health regulations to evaluate the upsurge of mpox in the Democratic Republic of the Congo and other countries in Africa. Today, the emergency committee met and advised me that, in its view, the situation constitutes a public health emergency of international concern. I have accepted that advice.
Is rushing to finalize a new agreement to prevent and combat future pandemics. But several lawmakers say the U.S. should not be a part of this new accord. They say that the WHO is infringing on the rights of American taxpayers. They add most of the input is coming directly from China. Capitol Hill correspondent Eric Rosales explains.
Good evening, Tracy. The World Health Organization has spent months working to create the world's first pandemic treaty. It's designed to help countries prepare for Disease X. That's the name of the next global outbreak. The WHO's Director General says countries banding together to prepare is essential.
That agreement can help us to prepare for the future in a better way, because this is about a common enemy. And without a shared response, starting from the preparedness, we will face the same problem as COVID.
But Republican lawmakers and others warn the treaty is an international power grab orchestrated by China. Pro-Life Caucus co-chair Congressman Chris Smith believes U.S. tax dollars would be going towards abortions. Abortion has been included in the WHO documents as essential health services.
Article 6 of the agreement calls for the continuing provision of essential health services, which includes abortion on demand. There is absolutely no ambiguity here.
But it would suggest that people are on the same plane with planets and animals, whereas we could see WHO declaring a pandemic over climate change, elevating the planet above people.
The treaty will also require digital IDs to see if people are sick or even vaccinated, a sort of tracking system.
Access health care, travel, have a bank account, shop online, pay your taxes, vote. Basically, these digital IDs, once installed, are going to control every aspect of everybody's life.
The World Health Organization is really overstepping their boundaries.
Without a doubt, this is a very, very serious misuse of authority. It's all being done in a way that does not give governments, including the United States government, the ability, if it's passed, to really have a say.
The final text of the treaty is likely to be presented in late May. Now, some lawmakers question whether the Biden administration will submit the treaty to the Senate for ratification or enact it through executive order.
And he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Shazam, Revelation 13:16-17.
And whosoever shall not receive you, nor hear you, when ye depart thence, shake off the dust under your feet for a testimony against them. Verily I say unto you, it shall be more tolerable for Sodom and Amorah in the day of judgment, than for that city. Mark 6:11 Sefer.